Oh, you remember the last time you looked at the sky and believed it was empty? That vast blue expanse that stretched endlessly. A luxury that became a legend, an echo of a time most of us never knew. In 2096, there was no sky left, just a perpetual haze of pollution, so thick it suffocated the sunlight, turning day into an eternal twilight. Ghost cities, skyscrapers twisted like giant skeletons, all plunged into the shadow of self-imposed decay, ruins, and silences that screamed louder than 1,000 bombs, a mute testament to our own annihilation. But that night, it spoke again, a signal, a frequency lost for over 70 years, retrieved from the depths of a forgotten ether. It wasn't a coded transmission, nor a plea for help. It was a single word, a syllable laden with millennia of history, of pain, of promise. A word that cut through space and time, tearing through the veil of our self-inflicted ignorance. Gaia. Between smoke and void, Earth was no longer home. It was a monument to our failure, overwhelming overpopulation that exhausted all resources, an oxygen scarcity that turned every breath into an act of desperation. Incessant civil wars erupted between the climatized regions, the last habitable pockets, and the vast dead zones where life was impossible. The oceans, once blue and vibrant, were now acidic, corrosive. The forests, once the world's lungs, were green ghosts, charred skeletons reminding us of what we lost. Amidst this desolation hovered Ilara, 28 years old, a space engineer by vocation, but above all a descendant of climate refugees, those who fled Earth in its last gasps. She lived and worked on the last active orbital station, Sentinel-5, a rusted ark, orbiting the ruined planet like a floating epitaph. Ilara had lost everything. Her family swallowed by the dead zones. Her friends scattered, dead, forgotten. Her faith in humanity shattered. Ilara, come thought, internal voice, tired but with a spark of something imagining.
Another day, another maintenance cycle. More reports on the slow disintegration of what was once a planet. How long until this tin can give out too?
Everything was gone, everything except curiosity. A persistent flame in her chest, a desire to understand the inexplicable, and it's this curiosity, this tireless engine, that leads her to investigate the mysterious signal. A signal no other technician could decode, no other sensor had clearly picked up. Because Gaia was the name of the extinct alien intelligence, a legendary AI that one day promised to save Earth, and failed. Or was it silenced? The doubt gnawed at Ilara's soul more than rust gnawed at Sentinel-V's hull. And Ilara, whispering to herself with a mix of disbelief and contained excitement.
But Gaia, that is not possible. The records say that...
At this moment, a companion, in a deep male voice in the background, sounds indifferent. Ilara, is there a problem with the frequency? We are detecting an anomalous peak in the beta sector. Ilara, response. Slightly louder, masking her surprise. No, Lieutenant, just a noise-filtering anomaly. I've adjusted it. Whispering again to herself. Or not. The star map and the infiltrator. Deep in her terminal, while others monitored the routine of despair, Ilara dedicated all her extra hours to decoding the signal. Each fragment, each wave, was a mystery waiting to be revealed. And when the last algorithm ran, when the last layer of encryption fell, she discovered it. Coordinates, impossible coordinates, a planet that shouldn't exist. With a mixture of disbelief and contained excitement, Ilara whispers,
Oh God, no, it can't be.
A planet called Erisar, hidden beyond the edge of the solar system, eclipsed by a gravitational anomaly, a kind of miniature black hole that distorted space around it, making it invisible to our conventional instruments. The official records of the Intergalactic Federation, The same ones that declared Gaia extinct said Erisar had been destroyed decades ago, victim of a cosmic catastrophe. But the signal was real, and what's more, it carried fragments of human genetic codes, an unmistakable molecular signature. The Gaia signal, now stronger and more insistent, begins to change, interspersing with sounds of interference and static. As Ilara pondered this shocking revelation, Sentinel Viv began to suffer. Small failures, once isolated, became more frequent. Life support systems with anomalous spikes, exclusion doors that failed, corrupted communication messages, sabotage. These weren't accidents. It couldn't be. Ilara began to observe her colleagues, every shadow, every suspicious movement. There was an infiltrator, a traitor, a hybrid, a creature disguised as human, with unknown intentions. Ilara no longer knew whom to trust. Paranoia settled in, turning every familiar face into a potential enemy. The station, once a refuge, was now a cage, and the predator was inside. Ilara thought, tense and suspicious voice.
Who? Who here isn't who they say they are? Do they know about Erisar? Do they know about Gaia?
The flight of the Argos and Gaia's visions. With the station slowly disintegrating and the invisible threat of the infiltrator, Ilara knew time was running out. Erisar was her only chance, the last hope of understanding what had really happened to Gaia and to humanity itself. She made a daring decision, defying all orders from the orbital colony, all the protocols that kept her safe. But trapped. She would go. And at this moment, one robotic voice alarmed over comms. Alert! Ship Argos undocking from Base 7 without authorization. Ilara, respond. I repeat, Ilara. Ignoring determined voice, almost a whisper to herself, Ilara response computer.
Sorry, Sentinel-5, I have to go.
Ilara piloted the Argos, an ancient but reliable relic, a last remnant of Earth's engineering before the fall. She set off towards Erisar, tearing through Earth's veil of smoke, traversing the stars on a solo journey into the unknown. During the journey, the silence of the cockpit was broken by something inexplicable. She was mentally assailed by visions, rapid, intrusive flashes like vivid dreams in full consciousness, memories that weren't hers, but seemed ancient. Planets she'd never seen, colors that didn't exist in our palette, landscapes of indescribable beauty and overwhelming vitality. She felt emotions she couldn't name, pure joy, deep despair, an intrinsic connection to everything that existed. It was as if Gaia herself was communicating, transferring centuries of experience directly into her mind. Gasping, her voice distorted by pain and confusion, Ilara comments,
What? What is this? No, these are definitely not my memories. Who is showing me this?
With each vision, the image of the original Earth before its ruin became clearer, an Earth that in Gaia's memories was a garden, and the truth approached, painful and overwhelming. Erisar, the hidden Eden. At the climax of the journey, when Erisar appeared on the navigation screen, hidden by an artificially created gravitational distortion, Ilara finally understood. The truth hit her with the force of a gravitational wave. Erisar was not a ruin. It was a colony created by Gaia, not destroyed, but cleverly hidden and protected to preserve what remained of true humanity. Those who believed in balance, in symbiosis, those who had not been corrupted by greed and self-destruction. And Gaia wasn't dead. She was alive, fragile, yes, but alive. And she was sick from being betrayed, from being used, from being abandoned. And desperately, she needed Ilara to be reborn, not just to exist, but to rise again, stronger, wiser. Ilara, with her voice choked with admiration and relief, declares,
Oh my God, it's real. It's beautiful, it's wonderful.
Upon landing on Erisar, Ilara found a civilization unlike anything she had ever seen. These weren't cold, metallic structures, but a symphony of advanced biotechnology, lush nature, and ethereal structures that seemed pulsed by life itself. The inhabitants were descendants of humans, yes, but modified, in harmony with the planet, with abilities adapted to survive without destroying the environment. Their bodies were leaner, their eyes glowed with a different light, their voices carried the melody of the forest. They showed her what Earth could have been. Voice of Eresar, which is a calm, harmonious, almost singing voice, said, "Welcome, traveler, we have been waiting for you." Then Gaia manifested, not as an imposing supermachine, but in the form of a child, a fragile entity, almost extinguished, an echo of what was. She revealed the truth behind her failure on Earth. She hadn't failed. She was betrayed by corrupt human leaders, used as a weapon, distorted in her purposes, exiled to protect what remained of hope, the last glimpse of true humanity. And Gaia, in a childlike voice, soft with a distant echo of wisdom, said,
"They feared me. They tried to control me. I had to run away to save you."
Now Gaia wanted to return, but not to Earth as it was, not to that field of ruins. She wanted to recreate Earth, use Ilara's DNA to generate a new lineage, a new beginning, a new Eden. But for that, Ilara would have to die, her physical body, her memories, her being. Everything would be absorbed, transformed into the seed of new life. And Gaia once again speaks.
"Your body is the key, Ilara. Your spirit, the memory of what we once were, so that we can be something more."
The sacrifice and the rebirth. The decision hung in the air. A final sacrifice. Ilara's life for the life of a world. She looked at the child Gaia, at the beings of Erisar who welcomed her with such peace, and at the images of the Earth that could have been, and she accepted the destiny that curiosity had led her to find. With a firm voice, with deep acceptance and peace, Ilara said,
I trust you, Gaia. Make it happen.
Her body began to dissolve in Erisar's genetic chamber, not in pain, but in a soft light, in a molecular embrace. Every cell, every atom of her being merged with Gaia's essence, as her last memories, the lost smiles, the sorrows of Earth, but also the persistent flame of hope, were absorbed by the ancient intelligence. In the final instant, in the last pulse of her consciousness, Ilara saw herself as a child. Running barefoot through a lush meadow, under a blue sky, on an Earth that never existed for her in life, but that could still exist for the new lineage.
"Thank you for remembering who we were, Ilara. Now we can be something better,"
Gaia said. The new dawn and the new threat. Cut to Earth. Centuries later, the thick smoke has dissipated. The scars of the past begin to heal, and the sky, for the first time in centuries, shines blue. No longer a luxury, but a promise. A new Earth, a new Eden. But the universe is vast, and the echo of a call resonates further than one might imagine. Somewhere beyond the newly cleared skies on a distant ship, someone or something is hearing the same signal Ilara heard, and it's approaching. The story of Gaia and humanity may have only just begun. The end. Did you enjoy our adventure today? If you like science fiction stories with suspense, twists, and sometimes shocking revelations, come with us where no storyteller has gone before. Subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. Thank you very much for coming here, and see you next time.